Well, hello again. This is Beatty Carmichael with GetSellersCallingYou.com. By the way, if you haven't been there, go to GetSellersCallingYou.com. It's a great resource site that we put together and continue to update on all kinds of things marketing your real estate business so that you can grow it well. Today I want to talk about real estate farming letters, and this is actually where we got our start many years back with realtors, is working in the real estate farming. And this is actually going to be one of several video series in this topic. The focus of this is on this video is really just going through a couple of simple types of letters that you can do successfully, and what are some of the things that you need to be mindful of to be successful. Second video is to dig into one of those letters. We call it the persuasion letter, which is one of the most successful and important things you can do. And the third video is, if you don't know how to pick out the right farm, that's where you start first, okay? So we're actually going to put where you start at the end, only because it came last on my notes, okay? So with that, let's talk about getting started with this. Let's talk about the most important ingredients when doing a real estate farming letter, okay? And there are actually two ingredients, two things that you can do. One is called a teaser letter. I call it a teaser letter. It's really a direct response letter. And the other is what's called a persuasion letter. The direct response, or the teaser letter, is all about getting that homeowner to raise their hand if they're thinking about selling. The persuasion letter is all about getting that homeowner to pick up the phone and call you when they're ready to sell. And you go, well, why would I use a teaser letter if I can get them to call me? Because you can't always get them to call you, okay? And so it's kind of like an investment portfolio. You invest in some stocks here and some stocks there, and the mix actually gives you a higher return than one stock potentially all by itself. So what we want to do is to try to get as much out of that farm as possible. And the reason is simple. When you're talking about farming, the real issue is that you're competing against a marketing term called positioning. Okay, positioning is where your name, your brand, is positioned in that homeowner's mind. And there was actually a book put out in 1980s called Positioning by Al Ries. And one of the things that they found in their studies is that the consumer can only remember an average of 2 and maybe 3 brands at any given time. So if you think about how many real estate agents there are out there, especially if you're farming an area, there's a whole lot of them. If you're not one of those 1, 2, or possibly 3 agents, you don't even get a shot at it, okay? So it's important that you do it well. And what the teaser letter does is it keeps you from having to be one of those 1, 2, or 3 agents. You can be way down on the bottom and you can still get a listing, okay? So that's the purpose of the teaser letter. So let me focus a little bit in on the teaser letter right now, since we're going to talk about the persuasion letter in the next video. So the teaser letter is a direct response. What it's trying to do is it's trying to offer information that will get someone who's thinking about selling to actually respond. And at the same time, to eliminate everyone else who's not interested in selling, okay? So we want to just kind of condense it down. And we have done a number of split A/B marketing tests, where that's basically where you go out with 2 different offers, equal numbers, and you test which one produces better, and allows you to really quantify what works best and what people respond to. And we have found a number of things that actually work really, really well. The best one, okay, and this is where I would start if you're going to do a teaser letter. Let me kind of give you the background on how I came about this, and then you can kind of take that derivation on your own. So one of our clients many years back was a guy named Rob. And he's actually been a family friend of mine for many years. He's in the city where I live. And he was telling me that he had a client that was looking in this particular neighborhood, and in fact on this one particular street that he really wanted to live in. And they've been waiting and waiting, and you know, one home would come on the market, but it just wasn't the right one, okay? And they keep waiting. So Rob decided, you know, I got an idea. Why don't I just go on that street and write a letter? Dear homeowner, my name is Rob so-and-so. I have a buyer who desperately wants to live on this street. They've been waiting for about a year trying to find the right home. I don't know if you're thinking about selling, but if you are, would you please contact me if you have an interest in selling? And let me see if it's a right fit, and maybe we can get your home sold immediately without any hassle. You know, just something like that. It's what I call the I have a client letter. So he stuck that out in all these mailboxes down the street. And guess what happened? He picked up a seller or two, right? Now, he may not have sold the house to the buyer because it may not have been the right fit, but he picked up sellers because it was a tantalizing offer. Only those people who have interest in selling will call him. I actually did the same thing, looking for a new house. We went around town, looked at it, said, I don't care what's on the market or not. Let's go find the house that we want. Okay, and then we put letters in those mailboxes. Hey, we're interested in moving, and your house is something that's caught our interest. Call me if you have interest in selling. You know, we put out 30 or 40 of those letters. We got 3 or 4 people calling saying, I'm interested in selling. Let's talk. Okay, so it's a real effective thing. So then how do you use that in farming when you don't have a client specifically interested in buying on that street? Well, you just have to get a little bit creative on that. Maybe here's some sample wording. If you're thinking about selling, I might be able to get your home sold immediately because of the type of buyers that I work with. Okay? Well, that's pretty compelling. So then you read the copy, and then the copy is going to explain that you have these buyers that are always looking in this particular area, and it's hard. And sometimes they're looking for 2 or 3 years before they find the right house. And because of that, if your house actually matches what they're specifically looking for, I might be able to get your home sold immediately. Pick up the phone and call me, or email me, or text me, or whatever your call to action is. And so now that's what I call a teaser letter. Another way you can do a teaser letter, a real simple way, is what's called a home valuation letter. Okay, this is where, and I use the word letter, but let me encourage you to use postcard instead of letter for one simple reason. With a letter, you got to get it opened before they will read it. With a postcard, they will read it 100% of the time. So you will increase your readership with a postcard. I can give you more factual data on this, but you'll increase your readership with a postcard by a factor of at least 4 times, if not 10 times. Trust me, it's more powerful if you send it out with a postcard. Okay, so and on one of these videos we'll probably do how do you do a postcard that really works. Okay, so but you can use what's called home valuation. Home valuation is someone's thinking about selling. The first thing they want to know is what their home's worth. So you send out a postcard. You go get one of those home valuation websites. Okay, you can buy dime a dozen basically online. So just look for them if you don't know what. If you don't have one already. And you get a domain that's like your domain. If your name is John Smith, you say, what's your home worth by johnsmith.com, something like that. And then you send out a postcard. Hey, if you're thinking about selling your home, first step is find out what your home is worth. I specialize in this area. Go to my website now and find out roughly what your home is worth. Okay. So then what happens is those people go to the home valuation website. Now what they're essentially doing is they're raising their hand saying, I'm interested. And then you pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, I saw that you went to the website and you were checking out maybe what the value of your home is worth. Are you guys thinking about selling anytime soon? That's kind of the condensed version of how you would do a follow-up. Another type of teaser letter would be if you have something that you can give them of value that will help them in the process of getting the most money for their home. Because there's one thing that people want, the most money in the shortest amount of time. So why don't you put together a list of the top 3, the top 4, the top 5, the top 7, whatever it is, of the things that they ought to be doing right now as they're preparing their home to go on the market. So when it goes on the market, it's going to get top dollar in the shortest amount of time. And then you create a report out of those things. The top 7 things you can do right now before you put your home on the market to get the absolute highest price and get it sold in the absolute shortest amount of time. Okay, so that might be the headline. Then you write a little copy. I've been selling real estate for 17 years. I specialize in this area. There's one thing I've learned, and that. Sorry for that break right there. The camera stopped. So, there's one thing I've learned. I've been selling real estate for 17 years, and I've learned that there's a consistent pattern of those homes when I get them on the market that they always sell for the most money in the shortest amount of time. And there's actually 7 things that if they're done before you put it on the market, your home will sell in the shortest time for the most amount of money. Isn't that tantalizing? If I'm thinking about selling, or if you're a homeowner, you're thinking about selling, doesn't that sound like something you would like to know? So put that report together, and then you have them contact you for it. Either call this toll-free number, or what I call a call capture number, leave your name and address, text me, email me, phone me, whatever it is. There's got to be a call to action. As I shared on one of my other videos, you want to make it where it's real easy for them to get that information without feeling like they're going to have a salesperson now, breathing down their neck trying to get a listing appointment from them. Because a lot of times when you're getting people to raise their hand that they're thinking about selling, it may still be 3 months out. It could be 6 months out. And if you're pushy, trying to get a listing appointment, trying to get a listing agreement, you're just going to blow it. So let's talk real quickly now. I'm way off my notes, but these are the things that are important. So let's talk about how do you follow up on those. If you're doing a follow-up on the what I call the I have a client approach, that's a fairly simple thing because they're typically contacting you, and those people are usually a little bit more ready to sell. If you're doing the home valuation type of approach or the report type of approach, you want to realize that when they respond, they're not necessarily saying, I'm ready to sell right now, come get me a listing appointment, come give me a listing agreement. That's not what it is. If you follow up with that approach, you're just going to lose them because now you become pushy. So you have to be very delicate. When you follow up, you just want to be there to provide additional information. Maybe bring them a box of cookies as just a welcome, a gift, okay, just to say hello, okay, and say, hey, I don't know when you guys are thinking about selling, but whenever you are, I've got a wealth of information. I can guide you along the way to help you prepare your home. No strings attached. You don't have to choose me. I'm happy to give. Because here's what I find. I work in this neighborhood all the time, and the more the homes sell fast and sell for top dollar, the more my clients' homes are going to sell faster and for top dollar as well. So I'm happy to help in any way I can. Just be real sincere with it, and you'll find that there's this law of reciprocity. You do something nice for them, they're going to do something nice to you, which means they're typically going to then contact you to sell their home. Let me see how far off my notes I am, and if there's anything else I need to be talking about. Not on this. So we're going to move into the next video, but before I do, let me just give you a couple quick plugs. Number one, if you like this content, please like the video, okay? Please comment on the video and share it with others. That'll help them out and help us out. Also, as I mentioned, getsellerscallingyou.com has a bunch of free resources that we put together and constantly updating. And please check it out. I do a podcast every week on real estate marketing and all kinds of things. And finally, if this seems really exciting but overwhelming because you go, oh my gosh, this is just so far out of your wheelhouse, then maybe we can help. Okay. Now we only work with agents who do $5 million a year in volume or more, and have at least 100 records of people that they're contacting. Either a farm that you want to target at least 100 people, or maybe a personal list or something like that. And you can see what we do at agentdominator.info. Okay. To watch the next series in this video, just copy the title out of this video, and there'll probably be a part 1. You want to then replace that with part 2, okay? And you'll find the next video on the next subject called the persuasion letter. Hope this has been helpful. God bless.